What up, you two? It's your boy Darius. Yes, I know I need some stuff in my background. I need like a poster or something. I had something hanging up, but then it fell down, so it's like I basically gave up. But I do need some posters, so any ideas, let me know. But with that being said, what we're going to do, we're going to react to NSYNC, the dark tale of American favorite '90s boy band. I would recommend this video by Cora Gray. She always recommend some video to me for me to watch. And sing. I always like them more than I like Backstreet Boys, to tell you the truth. Like I like their song Bye 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 Bye, or even It's Gonna Be Me, or like what's that song? Gone, gone, gone. They were a great group for a while, but they were a boy band. But we're gonna check this out. Let's see what it's about.
The Y2K pop era was a
Mhm.
very distinctive time in popular
It was,
culture. From the oversized clothing to choreographed dance moves to
yeah.
futuristic album designs, these were all characteristics that helped establish the pop stars of that time.
Oh,
NSYNC, a five-piece boy band formed in 1997 by businessman Lou Pearlman, was
yeah.
among the most successful and recognizable pop acts of that era. The
They
members
were.
Chris, Lance, Justin, Joey, and JC all had the looks and
I bet you not too many people know this, but this Chris guy, he fights Skip, yeah, what that Chip Skyler, from Fairly Odd Parents. The Johnny Teeth in me, Johnny Teeth in me, Johnny Teeth in me, Johnny Teeth in me.
personalities to enter the tween market and dominate it. While admittedly their first album was a carbon copy of the Backstreet Boys'
It
first
was.
album, it wouldn't be until their second studio record, titled No Strings Attached, that they really defined themselves as a force to be reckoned with. The forward-thinking production and ahead of its time writing led to groundbreaking success. Ironically, it's when they were the most successful that they
Yeah.
became entrenched in a messy legal battle with their manager and record label. Fighting for their name,
Yeah,
NSYNC would have to
yeah, that's
overcome
the
bad
thing.
contracts and greedy men trying to take advantage of them. In this video, we're going to be
Yeah,
discussing
that's
the
crazy.
formation of
They're not the first, nor were they the last to battle against managers. Like Queen, I know Queen. They did a song Death with Two Legs, something like where they did their previous manager. Even Paul McCartney when he did Alan Klein, you never give me your money, or even like New Edition. Like they had New Edition, or like even NWA. That's why you think Ice Cube left, because that he didn't trust Jerry Heller. Like listen to No Vaseline. That's a hardcore diss track right there.
NSYNC, as well as how their legal troubles led to one of the greatest Y2K pop albums ever. Let's get into it.
All right.
The creation of NSYNC was started by member Chris Kirkpatrick. Chris was in college
Mm.
working part-time in a doo-wop group at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. While he was working there, he was
Chris is
connected
old.
through a mutual friend to a man named Lou Pearlman. Just for context, Lou Pearlman was an entrepreneur who had a history in the aviation business, leasing out blimps, helicopters, and planes to high-end clients. One day, he chartered a private plane to the group New Kids on the Block.
New
After
kids
asking
on the
them what they
block have
did
a
and
lot of
observing how
hits.
much money they made in record sales, he decided he wanted to create boy bands as well. After successfully creating the Backstreet Boys,
He
Lou
did.
told Chris if he could find another boy band, he would fund them. Chris started making some calls and found Justin Timberlake, who had previously worked on the Mickey Mouse Club. Justin
That's
agreed and
true.
referred his friend and co-star JC Chazé to be a part of the
Sade.
group. After all three members linked up, they spotted Joey Fatone dancing at Universal's Pleasure Island and asked him to be a part of the group. Joey accepted and further offered his friend Jason Watkins to be the last member. However, Jason didn't feel like being in a boy band was for him and dropped out.
And that's
In search for a
and that's okay. Like sometimes Dean searches not for you. I'm sure that this gentleman right here, he had no regrets of not being with NSYNC, because not everything is for everyone. You know what I'm saying. But it's kind of good, because we would have this guy Lance Bass.
singer, Justin's mom made a call to his old vocal coach, and they found their last member, Lance Bass.
Lance
NSYNC
Bass.
signed to Lou Pearlman's record label, Transcontinental, but because it was an indie label, they were looking for a major record label to really put them on the map. It wouldn't be until BMG Germany showed interest that Lou devised a plan to have NSYNC break international markets before US markets. His main reasoning
for
behind
dissing him, like, because I'm not a good looking dude myself, but you ever look at someone that just like, damn.
Was because European markets were more accepting of pop music, with the Spice Girls and Take 5 already gaining huge success. In preparation for the trip, the boys went through boot camp in which they trained tirelessly in a warehouse, perfecting their dance moves and vocals. NSYNC released their debut album in Germany on May 26, 1997, and gained overnight success, with the album reaching #1 on the German charts.
Nice.
After successfully touring Europe, they decided it was time to break the US market. They ended up readjusting a few tracks to better fit the US and re-released their album on March of 1998. The album did not do phenomenally well, debuting at number 82 and hovering around there for a few months. It was only when the Backstreet Boys backed out of a Disney Channel concert special due to being burnt out that NSYNC would get the opportunity to make their US mark. On July 18, 1998, the television concert premiered, and because Disney would constantly replay it, their album slowly made its way to #2 of the Billboard 200, surpassing the Backstreet Boys album. After their first album was released, it went diamond, selling over 10 million copies in the US. However, in late 1998, they started to realize that their money wasn't adding up. It was only when they took a better look at their contracts that they realized Lou Pearlman, someone they nicknamed Big Papa, was cheating them out of millions of dollars. Lou was doing this by paying himself as if he were a part of the group, meaning he got payments from album sales, touring, and merchandising. Then he would take his position as a manager and split the profit.
The record business, it's a dirty business. It really is. Like stuff that happened to him, that been happening since for almost hundreds of years. It happened during the doo-wop era, during the Motown era. It happened and now it happened during the boy bands era, and I'm sure it's still happening now.
50-50. It was a complete scam, and the only reason he got away with it was because he was telling the boys to use his lawyers to read over their contracts. Totally disregard.
That's the thing. I did it for the future. Always go with a separate lawyer. Don't use the manager people or anything. Go with your own separate lawyer. Or keep what they say, keep business and personal separate. It's a shame because these were young kids, and Lou, he was just really fucking them over with no Vaseline, like Ice Cube said.
Conflict of interest. A similar thing happened to 90s girl group TLC, and I talked about it in a separate video. In July
it's funny with the TLC, they were talking shit about Scrubs and everything, and they were going through bankruptcy. I don't want no scrub. Maybe that's why they don't want no scrub, because they filed for bankruptcy. Hey.
1999, NSYNC tried to renegotiate their contract with Lou Pearlman and the chief executive of BMG Records, Strauss Zelnick. Strauss ended up siding with Pearlman, so in efforts to get away from their record label, NSYNC decided to sign a new record deal with Jive Records. For those of you who don't know, Jive housed fellow teen pop acts Britney Spears and the Backstreet Boys. On October 12th of 1999,
Jive had R. Kelly on it for a while. I don't know when he left Jive, but that was his record label.
Transcontinental and BMG Entertainment filed a federal lawsuit against NSYNC and Jive Records for breach of contract. On November of 1999, NSYNC launched a countersuit against Lou Pearlman for $25 million, citing fraud. In court documents, J.C. Chazé called Pearlman an unscrupulous, greedy businessman who, while hugging us and calling us family, was picking our pockets, robbing us of our future, and even endangering our health. Tax forms filed on behalf of NSYNC indicated that members of the group earned only approximately $20,000 each in 1997 and $38,000 each in 1998. Despite yet again the record label.
To me, $20,000 sounds like a lot of money, but to them, they should be getting way more than $20,000. that BS still like it go back to New Edition when they only got what $1.87. Like that's some BS.
Earning
I mean I know
hundreds of
they're
millions of
expensive, but
dollars in
still.
revenue. The court battle became a highly publicized event, with NSYNC fans outside the courtrooms praying for the win. On November 24th of 1999, Judge Ansi Conway denied BMG's and Lou Pearlman's attempt to stop the group from using their name and releasing their second studio album until after the case goes to trial. Luckily, before the case had to go to trial, on December 23rd of 1999, it was announced that NSYNC, Transcontinental, and Jive Records were able to come to a compromise and settle out of court. NSYNC was free to record and release their most important album to date. During the creation of their second studio album, NSYNC had a lot more creative control than before. The group recorded much of the songs without a record deal, making their own calls to producers and songwriters. They ended up working with a variety of people, from longtime collaborator Max Martin to Destiny's Child producer Shakespeare. The visual concept of the album was all about liberation, no longer being puppets to their record label. In terms of music, on the first two tracks, you get the traditional pop and R&B sound that NSYNC is known for, except this time it was much more edgier and in your face.
That's true, it
on
was.
The third track, Space Cowboy Yippee-Yi-Yay, we get arguably the weirdest Y2K song ever written and produced. You see, there were a lot of theories about what would happen on the turn of the millennium. Some thought that the world would end, while others thought that computers would crash. In this song, NSYNC's greatest solution to the dilemma is to be a space cowboy and lead the world. Like I said, it's a weird song. They also have a song titled Digital Get Down that was really ahead of its time with the way that it predicted cybersex. Skype hadn't even been invented until 2003, and this record came out in year 2000. Aside from the Y2K centered songs, they also have hidden gems like It Makes Me Ill, which was sampled by Ariana Grande for her song Break Up With Your Girlfriend. Undoubtedly the best track on the album though is I'll Be Good For You, featuring production from Justin Timberlake. It definitely was a precursor to the type of smooth R&B he would make on his solo albums.
I love you.
After the release of the album, the commercial success was insane. The album sold 2.4 million records within its first week. To put that into perspective, the Backstreet Boys Millennium set an all-time high with 1.13 million records, then Britney Spears beat the figure the following spring with 1.3 million copies of Oops, I Did It Again. So NSYNC hitting 2.4 million in their first week is unheard of. Barry Weiss, the president of Jive Records, stated, quote, "The lawsuit created an inordinate amount of pent-up demand in the marketplace. So when the album came out, it was a volcanic explosion of sales." In the end, NSYNC was able to beat the stigma of being the Backstreet Boys wannabes and created an album that cemented their place in Y2K pop forever. This has been Flashy. Thank you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed
that was a great video right there. I can't believe that NSYNC No Strings Attached came out 21 years ago. I was only in junior high when that album came out. I remember how huge they were, how big they were, and I'm glad they were able to separate themselves from that manager because like I said, the music business, they be fucking over artists with no vaseline, like just like Ice Cube said. So this is not nothing new, and sadly, this is something that's still going on to this day. You know what I'm saying? That's why more artists are relying on other avenues like Bandcamp and Spotify. To get their music heard. So I'm happy that more artists are going indie as opposed to going mainstream. And I'm glad with the internet age that we have so many great music, especially with the indie scene, so that we don't have to rely on what we listen to on the radio. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you guys like what you watch, hit the like, subscribe, and comment down below. You can also react to my other video right here. It's gonna be something random. But thank you guys for watching. Peace, love, and rock and roll.